they're sometimes mad at me too. It does, you know. So, yeah, well, occasionally, yeah. Just being the son doesn't always guarantee the love. But you know what? Now that I got such a great introduction, I'm thinking my favorite Fox announcer might now be Frank Luntz. I mean, Sean Hannity. I used to like Sean Hannity, and I'm thinking, you know.
Well, I hope the website that. So here's my question: how many of you in this room agree with Ron Paul's domestic policy? Raise your hands. Almost all of you. How many of you agree with his foreign policy? So what do you do?
We've got some work to be cut out, but I think the main thing that I would like to impress, and I probably won't convince people today, but that foreign policy is not always an either-or situation. I brought up the Cuban Missile Crisis, and we talked about that. It's complicated, and we shouldn't always say the response has to be either war or bombing, and there might be an in-between response, and that one person doesn't decide this. The president does not unilaterally decide this. The Constitution and our founding fathers wanted to divide that power, the power to declare war. The last time we did it, World War II. We were unified as a nation. We fought that war when we came home. That's more of my father's conception of the way we should fight war.
Senator, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And when we come back, Kaye Huntsman talks about trust and character, and John Huntsman and the most powerful anti-Obama ad. Coming up right next. He may have stayed out of Iowa, but former Governor John Huntsman has gotten a lot of great publicity nationwide. Let's take a look at what some of the reporters have said about him from his latest campaign ad.
If you look at John Huntsman's record as governor of Utah, if you look at his economic policy that he has put out, an economic policy that the Wall Street Journal, which is the Bible of economic conservatism, says that Huntsman's economic policy, his plan, is the best of all the other Republican candidates. This guy is 100% pro-life.
Mr. Huntsman's proposal is as impressive as any to date in the GOP presidential field, and certainly better than what we've seen from the front runners.
Huntsman as governor of Utah was the best ever. If you saw his plan, it's fantastic.
So, first off, welcome, Kaye Huntsman. Now, those were some very impressive clips, but we've not had a chance to talk about the character of somebody. You know John Huntsman the best. He's new to a lot in America because he wasn't in Iowa. What can you tell them about who he is as a person?
That's the best part of him. He, the person that he is off the camera, this person that I see every day. We've been married 28 years. We have 7 children, 3 girls, the John 2012 girls, who you might have seen. They've been kind of his secret weapons on the campaign. But watching him as a husband and as a father, as a governor, as an I couldn't be more proud of the honorable person that he is. The comments that people come up to us throughout the country is always, he's sane, he's honest, he's the common sense guy. And when he got into this race, many of the Republicans immediately dismissed him because he had crossed party lines and he'd worked for Obama. For me as a wife, I have never been more proud to know that he stepped up and served his country.
Can I ask you guys a question here? How many of you applaud him as a presidential candidate for having served Barack Obama? Raise your hands. And who criticizes it? Then why isn't he doing better? Go ahead.
He's probably the most intelligent guy in the race, all right? But he comes across wooden. He doesn't smile. He's up there in the debates.
Come to our town hall meeting. You'll see the real deal. And
the other thing I would say is I give your husband a lot of credit for the character that he presents on the debates and the fact that he continues to say that there's a credibility gap in American politics. But yet when I go to his website and I look for facts and figures on things, there are things that are ostensibly missing. So there's an incompleteness to your husband.
Can I make an offer? Which is that we've got one of the clips from today's debate where Governor Huntsman talks about that very issue. If we could roll that clip, I think it'll help educate the American people. Let's play the clip.
I just think it's most likely that the person who should represent our party running against President Obama is not someone who called him a remarkable leader and went to be his ambassador in China.
This nation is divided, David, because of attitudes like that. The American people are tired of the partisan division. Enough. There is no trust left among the American people in the institutions of power and among the American people and our elected officials.
All right.
And I say, we've had enough.
So my question is, how do we reinstill trust? He has analyzed the problem. What's his solution?
I think the way he's conducted his life, go back and look at his record, and I think that you can tell about a person that's running for office by going back and looking at their record. And the other day I was reading a magazine, The Economist magazine. It had 4 things that America, probably you all feel the same thing, that you look for in a presidential candidate. Number 1, somebody that has had government service, preferably served as a head of their state, which John has done. Someone that has business experience. John has been in business, manufacturing, helping a family business. As he went into governorship, he had that, taking a state to number 1 in business and the best managed state. And the next thing was finding somebody that had extensive foreign policy. And I think you all know on that stage, nobody has the foreign policy background that John has, which I think in a time of need that our country is going through right now, that is an important thing.
So what message would you say to him, Danielle? What would you tell him?
I would say that at a time like this, where the next president has to have such extensive foreign policy experience to be able to solve our problems, especially in the Middle East, that he's got that, and that he really needs to focus on letting the American public know that those are his strongest skills.
Jim?
This candidate has got an attribute that no one else has. He's the best candidate. He's found a way to deal with major policy questions in Utah, health care reform, tax reform. He's done this without partisan gridlock. We've got to end partisan gridlock and trench warfare.